Alright, here we go, and welcome back to my channel. Unless this is your first time, then welcome to Fallout 4 Settlement Building. Today I'm taking on the role as the Minutemen General, and I'm building up a settlement for the people of the community, and this is part 2 of this series, and I'm going to show you what progress I've made since the last time we were here. If you didn't see part 1, then definitely be sure to go check that out, and if not, then I'm going to show you all the things that we already did, so I hope you enjoy. Starting out here at the front, though, just to go ahead and jump right into it without wasting any time, the only extra additions that I put on the outside here are these two prefabs on either end here, and they're just going to act as guard stands on the outside for individuals that are trying to come in through the front door. They'll be greeted by somebody without being able to just walk in all willy-nilly or at their own leisure, which I feel like makes a little bit more sense for a militarized kind of group. But yeah, so we've got these little guard stands out here, and then I'll put some decorations and some shelving space, weapon storage, and somewhere to sit, maybe even take a nap if they want to. But other than that, those are basically going to remain as they are. And another thing that I didn't talk about when I last showed this build, or at least the front portion that I've done, were these little like stilt kind of things that I have on the outside here, which I really like. I haven't seen that anywhere before, but I just simply went into the scaffolding section, and in the stairs section they have those little ramps, and I use them kind of all over to support some of the builds that hang off over the edge of the building, just so it still kind of makes some sense for physics. But you know, I know it's not still 100% accurate, but it looks cool and it works out, so I'm happy with it. Anyways, if you watched part 1, you already know what this build is and how that looked. It hasn't changed too much, but if we go in through these front doors, there's quite a bit that I've added to this courtyard now, and we've got some power, as you can tell by the sound of the beautiful radio that plays in the background now that we're here. And we'll also get notifications of any people that are in need of protection. But anyways, one of the main buildings that I was talking about trying to figure out and piece together was this HQ building, and I did get it. I ended up going with a 2-story design, and on the second story there is a platform for a bridge to go across, just like I wanted. I really was trying to figure out a way to make a bridge work somehow, and I made it work, so I'm pretty happy with that. And we actually have 2 in this one building. So on the outside here you can see we've got a little cooking station, and we've got plenty of cows here now, or Brahmin I should say, with all their little feeding troughs, and hopefully they stay there and out of the way for now. But anyways, we've got this little outdoor area for them to cook up and hang out if they want to. And then I added in some nice little bushes using the mute fruits and added some little decorative pieces, just trying to stage it to give you guys a better idea of what it's going to look like when we're at the very end. This little bed here is mine, just ignore that. I just need to change the time of day from time to time. But then coming around the front side of this building, this is actually going to be our main entrance. Obviously I don't have any doors on any of these, with the exception of a few, but those will come on in the final episode, so definitely stick around for that. In here we added some extra shelving space, and I'm doing fantastic, sir. How are you doing? Anyways, we added some extra shelving space in here and a scavenging station, because obviously you can't move this workshop, so I kept it as it was. This prefab is here from the beginning as well, and I just threw walls on either side and one on the front and left the rest open and kept it as it was because it works and I think it looks nice and simple. And then I put a little bush over here as well, and you can see there's a little piece of corn sticking out of there as well. And then I've got some trash cans scattered around, and we've got another couple things on this end as well. And then going into the front here, nothing too crazy going on in here yet, but we do have our boy listening into the radio and making sure everything's monitored all properly. And this is just going to be the main level, obviously, for this guy to solely work on. So we might give him another desk and howdy. We might give him another desk or something back here and some storage space, shelves, maybe put like a little waiting room out here for people that are trying to come in and join the community. And then there's also is a second floor, so if we go back around to the, whoops, I'm pumping water. That's definitely what I meant to do, so let's do it. But if we come back around to the side where the cooking station is and go up this staircase, this will actually take you to the second floor, and this will also probably be like a workstation for other individuals that I'm going to assign that are Minutemen to be working in this HQ or CQ or whatever you want to call it. This is going to be basically the center point of this whole base and how this base is run. So between that floor and this floor, that's what these are dedicated to. And then if you walk across this cool little bridge that I put, it leads to the shooting range, the firing range that I was talking about wanting to make. And I did complete that. This level isn't for shooting, obviously, it's just a viewing platform. So down below, you've got the actual shooting range. And if you want to come up here and just watch people take down their targets, you can do that. So I'll put some seating up here, some tables, and it'll literally just be like an outdoor patio to watch some guys train. And then if we go back down this staircase and around to the side I was just on again and go up this weird ladder or staircase that I have here, weird but unique design that I actually kind of like. But if you come up here, this takes you to the 2.5 floor, which is just literally just for a bridge. And I use the guard stands really just for decoration to go across this, because when you're down below and you look at this, it looks kind of nice from afar, in my opinion, to see that those big green guard stands sticking out. But yeah, then there's that cool bridge I got there. If we go down to the first floor again and check out our little greenhouse, I built this because I was trying to figure out ideas to do for a farm so these guys can still have some sort of crops. I mainly went with these designs, and these will be the center of their food, or the main source for their food. And then I'll have storage space for that food in here, and maybe another 1 or 2 little farming platforms that they can do some indoor farming in the greenhouse if they choose. I'm not going to go inside the building yet, but I will come over here and do a quick peek at the firing range. Like I said, we've got some weapon storage that will eventually be filled up, so they can come in here, choose what weapon they want, and then they can train away. Obviously, we'll probably use some weapons that are Minutemen focused kind of weapons, like laser rifles. And then this is just another mute fruit garden, and I slapped a big generator in the middle of it because I thought it looked really nice, and they're huge and fill up a lot of space, and it's cool to me. I didn't really know what to do with this platform up here because there's all this rubble down below that kind of gets in the way, so I just built an elevated platform, and I was back and forth on whether or not I wanted to build another building here. I might still eventually do it, but for now I'm just keeping it as another like outdoor seating area for people to chill in, and just a transit route mainly. So yeah, we got this little ramp that goes up and leads to everything else up here, but before we do that, I'm going to show you the power armor stations that I built as well. So these guys are going to need some sort of placement for their armor for any battles that they potentially have, and this was already built as like an armory, so I figured I would just build the power armor stands. Hey Ronnie, hello. Everybody's really happy and excited to see me today, I suppose. But yeah, this was already built into an armory from the very beginning, so I just added these on the outside to give them more storage and, you know, really bring the center of attention over here and let them know that it's the armory. So we got 4 big power armor stands here, easy access. You can just walk up in here and then they can work on their power armor. And I used the metal wall in the wood section. I'll show you real quick so you know what I'm talking about. I used these walls and just used the pillar glitch and sunk them under the ground, and because these platforms were floating, if you slip it under there, it'll make it look like it's held up by some sort of structure. It can take some time and patience to do that, but it's easier on the front end because you can connect these 2 pieces together on the outside just like this, and then you can grab your pillar. And don't sink it under the ground because it won't allow you to go that far if you do. And then you just do this and slide it as far down as you need to. And once you have it into place, simply lift it up and do some finessing back and forth, left and right, however you need to, and it'll fit in there perfectly. Pretty easy, pretty nice. Okay, and then as for some power, I'll explain a little bit of my power as I walk throughout here because there's generators scattered all around. We've got one here, for example. I can't remember if it's a 5 or a 3, but again, just use the pillar, connected the generator to it, sunk it under the ground, and put a nice little lantern on there to make it look like it's a table and act a little bit more natural. And it brings some light to that corner, which looks kind of cool at night, where how it's lit up in that section. And I'm going to do more lights and stuff in all of these buildings. I've got some just regular single string light bulbs hanging in all of them right now, but it was mainly just because I was testing out the power and making sure it worked everywhere that I needed it to. So moving on from the armory, we already went into the greenhouse and the HQ. I showed you this, and I showed you the firing range. So if we actually go into the firing range and across, we'll go up there to that level, which is our fancy little restaurant that we built for them. So in here, all we kept it simple. We have tables and chairs, circular tables, and a variety of different chairs. Because in my head, if somebody's going out and scavenging for supplies or furniture, they're never going to find all of the same thing. They're going to find a mixture of different things, and so that's kind of how I staged this here. I used a lot of the same tables because I think, you know, maybe somebody could have gone to a restaurant and they could have collected all the tables from that one restaurant, and then from there they went around and just found what they could to sit down in, and it worked. And I think it looks nice. So we got 2 tables up here, and maybe I'll add some small decorative tables along this edge or something, but I don't want to take up too much of this walking space. And then I used the warehouse wall, half walls that are glass, and just put one of those all along the bottom here. And I was going to try to fill the gap with another one, and it would stick out just a little bit over, which didn't bother me too much, but I liked the idea of hanging up these string lights and this like platform light instead. So, and it keeps the open air and it feels nice, and it's like an outdoor seating area, like a deck. deck. So it's an indoor-outdoor seating area. Thought it worked and was kind of cool. Now moving on to the back half of the building, we've got a couple of slot machines here for entertainment, and then the actual counter where a person will work here and serve the food and beverages. There's also a soda machine here, and I'll probably put another counter behind the bar as well as storage space because I don't want to take up too much space here. Same as in the front, it might slim out this walking path a little too much and make it a tight squeeze and make it uncomfortable. And like I was saying about the chairs here as well, on the actual outdoor deck, not the indoor-outdoor deck, we've got a mixture of chairs here too. You can see we've got some more indoor-looking type chairs in some places, some a little more beat and broken, and then, you know, regular patio chairs or just folding metal chairs. But not a lot of the same chairs will you ever see throughout this build. So good mixture. And then we have another space just up here that is empty for right now. And I had a few thoughts about what I could do with this area. One was that it could be turned into like a little outdoor like dancing patio or something like that, or just be a regular outdoor deck for people to come up to, or I can make it another full like dining patio. Let me know in the comments what you think and what your opinion is and what I should turn this into, and maybe your idea will be implemented in the third episode, the third and final episode, the reveal of the final build. And let's get rid of these god stairs going to heaven. And then moving on from this build, we've got our little scaffolding back there that was helping us put some things together. Moving on from the restaurant though, I had already shown the guard stands and the build that I'm doing for them. I haven't put anything into every single one of these. This one obviously has a little generator next to it, but these are all empty right now with the exception of this one over here. And I'll go show you that momentarily, but I will also show you my new mortar stands. Nothing too fancy, but I just put them up on a little bit of an elevated platform. I didn't like that they were just sitting down in those holes, and it didn't feel like they matched as well with the rest of the build. So I gave them a little elevated wooden platform and put some fencing around there. And then each of these mortar tubes will have 2 turrets to go along with it. So one on the right, one on the left. And then both of them have a little outhouse next to them as well. And this one I like a lot because this little broken piece of the wall here, I was able to incorporate it into that. And I don't know, I like when things go together seamlessly. And this had a little concrete bottom with it, and I was able to just kind of make it into like a staircase that walks up the front and goes in, and that made me happy. Anyways, moving on to these guys, we've got these cool little graded decks that I built. I didn't really have a real reason for putting them out here, but I felt like each of these sides were just a little too empty, and I didn't want to put a huge building on every single side. So on this side and on the opposite end over there too, where you can see the Pridwin in the background, they both have these little graded walking paths, and it's just for more turrets, lights, and then also so they can bump up their food as well. And this isn't my final idea for this. I need to put some more bushes and stuff in there to make it a little bit more crowded, but this is a general look of how I've done some of the like planters around this settlement. You can see down over there in that corner where the Nuka-Cola and ice machine are as well. If I hadn't already talked about it before, we've got the same look over there too. And then moving back over here, we've got a cool little communal area for these guys. Just like a little rec center where they can come hang out and play some games. So there's a big old pool table here, and then this little shelf I'm gonna fill up with board games and other little toys and stuff that they can play with. And then we got one seating area over there, and you can get back here still and make sure that you can get on all sides of this pool table. And then another seating area over here, as well as a cigarette dispenser, our jukebox playing very beautiful music right now. And then I thought about filling this shelf up with just regular books. And then I'll probably also put a magazine rack in here, so they have books, magazines, games, pool, and then plenty of areas to sit down and play their games and whatnot. I'll probably also put a carpet on the floor, so if they wanted to comfortably sit on the floor, they could do that as well. And then going to this guard stand, this is the one that I actually did put some things into, and it's not a final design, but I gave him a little chair to sit in, as well as a table and a radio. And if he's going to be walking around the settlement, you know how they do their little patrols, obviously he's not going to really pick it up, but I gave them lanterns, and I think I'm going to do that in every single one. And then just in case they smoke, whoever's on on duty. They have an ashtray, and you obviously can't put the ammo boxes in this one, and I don't have any mods. I'm trying to go no mods, so I just put one of the foot lockers to kind of simulate an ammo box. Oh, and then in this corner as well, they have a cooler for any snacks or anything like that that they may want while they're on shift. And then if we go back down and into the inside, this is just like a little workshop, storage, and a place to rest if they want to. So yeah, and then I might put some extra seating out here as well. If some people want to keep them company while they're on shift, then they can come out and maybe hang out here. And then each guard stand is also accompanied by another turret. This place is very heavily defended. Another 2 turrets, sorry. This place is very heavily guarded though and protected by the Minutemen here. As I say that, we see one phasing through the ground, stuck, scared for his life. Come on, man. Get out of the hole. You can do it. They really love getting into these weird positions and not getting out. Anyways, we're gonna just go ahead and leave him there for now and ignore him, and we're gonna move on. I don't need to talk about any of these ones because they still aren't built out, but I will build them out similarly to the first one or the second one that I showed you, and show you that in the third and final episode. As for everything outside,
Last time I had clean fingernails.
you're a nasty man. You're a nasty man. As for everything outside and upstairs, I think I've covered everything, and I also talked about everything downstairs, so let's move inside now, and I'll show you how I set that up and give you a rough idea of how I'm going to finish that off. I already showed inside of there, so we can just go straight in here next to the Brahmin that are crowded in here. And I'll make it daytime too real quick, like magic, and then we can do a brief walkthrough of the interior of this place. So over to the far left, you can't get rid of these sinks or these metal shelves, these wall shelves in here. So I decided to just keep it as a kitchen because this cooking station was already in here. So I added more shelving to either side of that, and then, you know, a big one and some wall shelving and whatnot. Again, I'll clean it up and make it all look a lot nicer and smoother, and it'll flow better and look more put together in the end once I use the pillar glitch and stuff, but I don't want to do all that boring stuff on camera. I've shown you those tips multiple times already. You don't got to see them again. And if you want to see them, then you can check them out in a previous one of my build videos. Other than that though, in here, I just added these metal shelves on either side and some tables as well. So it's kind of like a dining room / kitchen area, so they can cook their stuff and come in here and sit down. Or they can go up to the restaurant even and bring their food down here if they really want to, or if they have leftovers and they're working the next day. And then in this hall here, I kept it really simple. I didn't want to make it into anything too crazy. I'll keep it as a couch and then have these tables on either end. And whether or not that chair stays there or whether or not it's that chair that stays there, I'm not sure, but there's going to be a chair, and then I'll put some wall paintings and things to decorate around as well. And then this obviously leads up to one of the guard stands. Going down the hallway, however, I put all of the shops and necessary goods for the Minutemen on the inside. And these ones aren't decked out, and they're not gonna look like this in the final, but I'll show you the medical shop in a second, and that's kind of the design that I'm going for. So starting out, we have we have armor, weapons, and then when we work our way, it would have been smart to put the medical one here because the first aid box is still there. Maybe I'll flip that around. It's not final yet, but I did work a long time to get this one set up. But I put a junk fence here, and then the little clinic booth on the right hand side. And then I feel like I've seen this kind of design a lot throughout the wasteland in shops where they have like this chain link or wire fencing to protect whoever the shop owner is. So I kind of tried to go for that design. It's not absolutely perfect. I wasn't able to line the top one up absolutely perfectly, and then I didn't put the final one in yet, but I just kind of wanted to get an idea again of how I might want to set this up, and I think I really like that design. So I might move this clinic, like I said, over to where this little first aid kit is because it's cool that it's still there. And I probably don't want to scrap that. But all of these, both weapons, armor clinic, and this general store over here, will all have that same look to it.
Crops coming in pretty good.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. How do you know that? You're the store owner. You don't even work on the crops. Anyways, also accessible to all the shop owners and the guards that work here, I put some workstations down. So we've got a weapons workstation and accompanying it, a chemistry station and just some more shelving. This was another unique shelf piece that is only scrappable, and you can't actually place these down. They're the only 3-tier shelves that you can place down. So again, just being a bit of a nerd, I thought it was cool and just wanted to keep it there because it's a unique piece that not everybody has. And then another seating area in this small hallway because I didn't want to go too crazy. And then in the last section, we've got another power armor stand and a regular armor stand. I will probably also add, just as well as every other place in this settlement, I will add more decorative pieces and put more things up that make sense for this specific area. The second to last room, we've got the beds. I still haven't touched those since the first episode, and I probably will not touch this until the last episode. But I do have an idea for a bed design that I kind of want to do using the shelves, funnily enough. If you get these double stacked metal shelves here and you grab a regular mattress, then you can use the pillar glitch and you can get kind of a bunk bed look out of this. So I'll show you what that looks like if I can do it without grabbing every single one of these beds, because that will be very annoying if I continue to do that. Let me see. So we'll slide this back a little bit, give us some space. Oh, almost. Go left a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then all you have to do is float this guy up, and you can nicely set it just on top like that. And then you can group select it just by holding whatever your select button is, and then you can come in here and place it just like any old bed. Obviously there's not a bottom mattress right now, but it's going to take some finessing and time to get it in there properly, so I won't show the whole thing. But again, just like as with anything else in this build that I've talked about for the 1000th time, you get the idea. That's kind of what I'm going to go for. And then on the ends of each of those bunk beds, I think I want to put the metal lockers. If I can find them, I believe it's in containers, just like that. Now obviously there's not going to be as many beds in here, so it won't look as crowded as it does right now. I'll probably have like 7 or 8 of these, and right now I've got 13 of them. So it'll maybe make more sense to do like 2 of these on this wall, 2 on this wall, maybe 1 over here. I can do like 4 along this back wall and another 2 or something. You'll get the idea. But it'll be more spaced out, and these will be good footings for each of the beds instead of these little foot lockers. And if I want to, I can still slide foot lockers very easily underneath either side of these beds. So I can put 1 foot locker on the left hand side and then come over here and put another foot locker for one of them on the right hand side. Either way, they'll all have storage, and they'll all have a cool locker that they can share in whatever way they decide. And then in the very final room, I said I was going to make this into like a little community space for them. We've got a ghost working out in here right now, so let's stop that real quick. We don't like ghosts working out, so let's store that actually. I thought it was going to go away when I did that, but it didn't. And then where's our benches at? I can't remember. Here we go. Anyways, I said I was going to make a little community area for the people as well, fairly close to their bedroom. And instead of a community area, I gave them a gym because that building upstairs is more like a community area. So they also have a workout space. So I put a couple of workout bikes and some benches so they can lift. And then if anybody really decides that they want to get into it, they can pommel horse a little bit. I've seen Nick Valentine really get down quite a bit on those things. So if he ever comes by, maybe he'll decide to hop on. But I think really that is all that I've done so far. So there won't be any other buildings that will be built. I, for the most part, built all the structures that I've shown you and that I talked about building off camera. The only ones that I've kind of added in at my own free will was the greenhouse back there, and then I came up with the idea for the power armor stands because I felt like they needed some extra storage and space for that specifically. And then I didn't want to put a building here. Like I said, I was very back and forth on that, and so I came up with that. Really the only things I talked about finishing out were the guard stands, this middle building, and then doing some of the inside and firing range. But here I am with a little more than that, and that's okay. It's not too hard to figure out how I got pieces in certain places, and if you struggle to figure that out, then I can explain them if you want to ask in the comments. But for the most part, all of my building I do using the pillar glitch or using the carpet glitch, and it's just as simple as that. So other than that, I don't think I've got too much more to talk about when it comes to the electrical. I think that's also very straightforward. In a lot of the places that you don't see the generators, other generators are sunk underground, similar to the one that I spoke about next to the power armor stand, but they're all basically linked together by generators sunk underground, and then I have these power pylons scattered throughout to help link them, as well as the light poles and the 2 or 3, I think, maybe? No, just the 2 big turbines that I have out here as well. And then I forgot that there's a little water thing over here too. But yeah, they got some water there too if they ever need it. Other than that, though, I think that will be it for my Castle Settlement episode 2. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to show your support by dropping a like on it so I know that you loved it and that you're going to be excited for part 3, because that will be coming out also very shortly. And leave comments with suggestions of any other builds that you want to see from me and games that you want to see me play in general. I've been playing a lot of Farming Sim 22 recently and Elden Ring, and I'm down to play whatever if you guys want to see it. So let me know that too in the comments. And then if you want to see more content from me, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of it. And you can also hit the notification bell too if that is what's really striking your fancy. Either way, I think that wraps this one up. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.